you're looking at a really good football team. Facts of the matter is your 4 teams left in the country, they're all going to be good. And fun time for us to be playing football. We're certainly excited about playing at home in the Fargo Dome. That's really been a great place for us. We appreciate our fans and coming out and supporting and creating an atmosphere. We certainly believe that our fan base has had a significant advantage as we've gone through playoffs. But this is a very good football team. Coach McDonald is one of the more well-respected coaches in our profession. He's been in New Hampshire a long time. He's had many very successful assistants go on to pretty impressive head coaching moves. And you watch them. I mean, they're just a really good football team. And the thing is I'm sure they're watching us and probably having the same assessment. So makeup is really good. This is not the first time they've been in playoffs. When I was a voting member of the collegiate rankings, they were always one of the top teams in the top 25. And so 2 really good programs squaring it off on Friday night. And so we're certainly excited. I know our players are excited, and open it up for questions.
Health status of Colton out here. What happened on Saturday?
Twisted his, no, he's got a shoulder. Actually, had a twisted ankle before. His shoulder popped out, and we felt like he was going to be able to continue to play, and it popped out right before half. And so at that time, the doctor set him down. He did not practice yesterday, but we're in hopes that he'll be back today. Typically, that type of injury, once his soreness comes out and the strength returns, those guys can play. He's not the first guy on our team that has that. It's been unusual. We've had more shoulders come out this year than I can ever remember, and it'll be important to have his presence. I think Higgs was talking last night. That was probably his best game that he's played, and felt really comfortable. Our guys are playing with great energy, and hopefully we'll have him back this Friday. We're confident that we will.
What type of challenges does the short week present?
Well, anytime, particularly for defense, because most of the time on defense you're trying to get all your things schematically adjusted to an opponent's offense, and one thing that helps on defense is familiarity. And so when you're losing a day there, that makes a difference. And the balance comes in is how much work, Jamal, that you do, how much physical work that you do, because you want to be fresh at kickoff. You want your guys knowing what they're doing, but to say that, okay, it's just one less day and we're going to do the exact same thing in practice all the way through, I think that's somewhat short-sighted. We're late in the year. Our guys are playing fast, but we got to know what we're doing. And so we did practice yesterday, and typically we don't do that, but we utilized yesterday, and guys had a great attitude.
They're pretty balanced offensively in terms of total yardage or average yards. What do you see when you watch their offense?
Well, it's exactly what you just said. They're balanced. And, they've got 2 big running backs. The offensive line they're just really good. They've got good sides. They come off. They man you up. They create running lanes for their running back. Quarterback's playing at a high level. They've got a scheme for everything. They do have some trick plays, probably more so than most teams we've played. But the rest of the stuff they do, you just see a rhyme and a reason. Some teams we played, quite frankly, in the past, it's somewhat scatterbrained. It's grab bag. You'll see this on defense or that on offense. These guys, there's a plan on everything they do, from their special teams to their offense to their defense. Their coaches have been together a long time, and that poses a big challenge. On the flip side, some of those times that teams are doing all kinds of things, those are the hardest to prepare for and the easiest ones to beat. These guys, they have some things, but what they do really well. So they're difficult to defend and to move the ball against.
Would you say New Hampshire is stronger defensively than Furman or Coastal Carolina?
They're certainly stronger than Coastal Carolina, and we felt that, Mike, going into the ball game, that we'd have an advantage there in the lines of scrimmage. That's not the case here. These guys come off, they're flat back, they utilize their hands well, they're well disciplined. They're from a really good program. Those guys have been drilled and coached, but once again, you get to the Final Four. I mean, we were playing Georgia Southern this time last year, and this is great football. and it's a fun time to be here.
Can you use last year's week to prep for Georgia Southern for this week? I know it's two different football teams, but the same type of preparation.
Well, I certainly looked at that, Dom. You know, how to bring our football team along, how much contact, how much work, how much meeting time, how much time in the weight room. And the one advantage that we've had is you know, we've been in this situation before. We've got a seasoned veteran football team and a seasoned experienced coaching staff. And so there's a methodical plan that is in place. That certainly doesn't guarantee a win, but it gives our best chance to win.
Finals week going to pose a problem?
Yes. You know, I'm hopeful that our players are not like when I was in college, that I don't know how you were, Jeff. Did you ever just procrastinate everything and pull all-nighters?
4.0, Coach.
I can't make a comment on that. So, you know, we've talked to our guys the last 2 weeks about our preparation. You know, we've done a great job with our grade point average here and our APR rate. And this is where, when you say student athletes, they need to be student athletes. But it's a challenge. What does help is the fact that we're not traveling. That's one less day for conflicts and finals and things of that nature. But nonetheless, we want to make sure our guys are prepared to do well in the classroom and then also have a lot of energy when they play come Friday.
Coach, the CAA got two teams into the Final Four. Is there a typical trademark of their conference from what you'll see?
Well, what I have seen is you watch them. The guys are where they're supposed to be. You know, you coach football long enough, you put on tape and you say, wow, there's a plan here. These guys are where they're supposed to be. You watch all their defensive guys, as I say, their pad level's low and their gap, their integrity is there. They're running the football. They're mixing it up. It's not anything to where you have extremes. Really physical football. That doesn't mean that everybody just plays two backs like we do, but nonetheless, they're going to come off the ball and hit you, be able to throw it. Their defensive guys play really hard. You know, I know Townsend's the same way. And for the lion's share of the time that I've been FCS, the CAA has kind of been the top dog in the whole country. And so we've got our hands full. But you know, like I said, you get down to you're one of four. Everybody's going to be good.
Your thoughts on one of your assistants getting his opportunity to take over?
Yeah,
this
I'm certainly excited about that. You know, our whole message is to stay on task, and Chris was really good about that. This is a special year, and we're doing everything in our power to win a national championship. New Hampshire is a really quality football team, so our players have been very focused on that, and I have as well.
New Hampshire had some problems getting out of their last game travel-wise. How frustrating can that be as a coach when things get off schedule?
You know, it just depends on the mindset. I think a lot of that comes down to the makeup of the football team. As I look around the room, I see a couple of our writers are in the room. They may have remembered our first trip out to Montana when we had all kinds of issues in travel, and our team played well that day. Some of it just comes down to, you know, how the coaches are, how the players are. You know, like I said, it's a really good program, so I doubt it's going to have a huge impact on them. I wouldn't be happy about it, but you know what? That's what happens sometimes when you travel.
Coach, is it sunk in for you? This is going to be the last time that you coach in the Fargo Dome? You
know, I thought about that today. And what you try to do as a coach is you just try to block out all that stuff. But I did. You know, I didn't even realize. I was saying, geez, this is, you know, before you always said, okay, there's another game, there's another game, there's another game. But you say, hey, this is it. I know this, so it's not any remotely deal about me. It's about those players. Now, it's the last time that the 2013 Bison football program will all be together in the Dome, and that's kind of how I've looked at it.
You mentioned on Saturday that Derek Lang's been getting some meaningful reps. He's out there for at least one whole series. He's come up with some big performances for you.
Well, Langer's always been a really good running back. Now, there's a role for him, and we're fortunate that we're 3 deep at that spot, and it was good to see Chase Morlock get in some mop-up duty, but you know, when you get in between the tackles, Derek is a very capable runner. And also at that time of the game, sometimes to have a fresh back in there, you know, he's a strong-nosed Wisconsin guy that's going to grind it out. And We've appreciated everything that Derek has brought to the table for us. He not only plays as a running back position, he plays all kinds of special teams. And it was probably one of the first times I've seen him. He was tired, and which is good.
Coach, the last 2 weeks, Chase Morlock's had strong games, not just as running back, but in special teams as well. Are these the type of performances that you thought he would have when you decided to pull the red shirt?
Yeah, Jamal, making those decisions early in the year is always difficult because you can't see the future. You can try to predict the future and how much playing time and how many meaningful reps a youngster is going to have when they're a freshman, and what kind of not only physical maturity they have, but what kind of emotional maturity they have. And so you make a measured decision. I think we've made a good decision. It's been good to have him out there, and you can see not only his play on special teams, but when he gets in the game, I think he's you know what, the future looks really bright for Bison football when I see some of those guys out there.
Coach, talk about your special teams. Net punting is great, your punt returns are great. Just how they impact both the offense and defensive side of the ball.
Well, it's a good point. If you study football, nothing has an impact more on scoring than field position. And nothing has more of an impact on field position than special teams. And many times you almost think of it as hidden yardage every time you're punting, and their punter shanks one and you get great coverage, or you're able to bring a kickoff back further. All those yards add up, and we work hard. But everybody talks about working hard. I think we've been very productive in the special teams. Coach Gazer and Coach Cooper have done a good job, and those guys, whether it's Ben LeCompte or Adam Keller hitting the field goal late in the game, or our coverage teams or our return guys, that's been a big advantage. And that's why, if you look through our games this year, and maybe somebody can correct me, Ryan might be able to, but I think twice in the fourth quarter we've had our starters in at the end of the game. I believe it was Kansas State and Northern Iowa. I don't know if there's another game where, and special teams has come into play because that point total got stretched out.
Coach, you have the best special teams in the country. People talk about your defense being ranked number one, your offense playing really well. Do you view your program as having the best special teams in the country?
You know what? It's easier to say we're the best defense in the country because our scoring defense. Now, there's some parts of it. I also, as a defensive coordinator, make no mistake, one of the reasons why those numbers are there, that offense is running the football. And the time of possession comes into play. So all things work hand in hand. I think Brent Vegan does an unbelievable job of finding our niche. So our numbers on offense and defense you can measure. It's hard to say for me, special teams. I think we're one of the top teams, though, Mike. And some of it comes down to your specialists, too. I think Ben LeCompte has produced, Adam Keller has produced, and coverages have been good.
Your thoughts on that one?
Oh, go ahead. Well, I was just going to ask you about a play you ran Saturday, the jet sweep with Ryan. You've run that a lot, the jet action a lot. Do you foresee using him more in that role now over the next, hopefully, couple games?
Every week the game plan varies, and there's certain things that Coach Vegan and the offensive staff look at to see if that's exposed. Sometimes you'll see a guy go by and not utilize it but fake, and sometimes we'll do it at times. It's somewhat of a risky play because it's a perimeter play, and if you get penetration, you can come up with a yardage loss. But I thought our offensive coach has done a really good job. And Ryan is a man of many talents, and he came here as a running back. And so when he gets the ball in that situation, he's an explosive player. I believe against Kansas State, that might have been the first or second play we ran, and he turned the chains over there. And so he's healthy. He knows it's his last go-around. He knows there's probably not a future playing in the NFL. He's an ultra-competitive person, and it's great to get him the football. I think there was another question there, Don.
Your thoughts on winning the Eddie Robinson Award for the second straight year, knowing that name associated with college football, what does that mean to you?
Did that come out? Oh. It's special. I had an opportunity last year. Gene and I flew back there, and it was a neat event. The people that are in the room. For me, I'm somewhat dated now, and I was a young graduate assistant coach when Coach Robinson was still coaching. And he would come up and visit us at the University of Nebraska, and I would call him on the phone because at that time he exchanged 60-millimeter film. And he was what is awesome about all sports, and our sport of football is we appreciate diversity, but when you start stepping outside that, you appreciate greatness, no matter where they're from or what they do. And what Coach Robinson has done for our profession, that's really special. And so to be honored for the second year, it's special. But, you know, that comes into a whole lot of other people, Dom. That award, as you guys know, there's a whole lot of wins that are racked up there that are through a whole bunch of people. But I'll always treasure that. You know, I think Coach Robinson is it was neat to know him and then have a award given to you. So thank you. I didn't know that was out.
Speaking of awards, do you find it odd that no players from a possible 3-time national champion are Walter Payton Award finalists?
Well, I don't know how they vote on that, Mike. I don't vote. I know numbers. Brock was real close. FCS all-time winning quarterback must not stack up against total yards. I appreciate, and we all appreciate, Brock Jensen. Brock Jensen is going to do whatever he has to do for the football team to win. If that means hand the ball off the tailback, he's going to do that. And you know what? I'm disappointed. We're disappointed for Brock, but, you know, Brock's booked that and moved on. So I wouldn't trade him. All those other guys, he's our guy.
Talk about Billy Turner being invited to the Senior Bowl.
That does not surprise me. Billy has come back, and he's been one of those guys when you have great years in our football team, I think has gotten better this year. Typically that's because your seniors are hungry. There's no complacency. Billy worked hard in the offseason. Each week he's improved. I thought he played his best football last week, and he has not been distracted. I know that, you know, he hears all the NFL talk and, okay, what round I may go into, and he just keeps on working hard. When you get invited to the Senior Bowl, though, he's going to have a chance to be evaluated by every GM, every head coach, every position coach. It's run by the NFL, and so it's going to be a great experience for Billy, and I would be really surprised if he doesn't do well there and his stock go up even higher.
Still trying to get him that touchdown?
Yeah, that was. I'm out of the. Vigs fired me after the. I thought it was going to be a heck of a play. You know, try to be a little creative. Billy loved it. You know what he wants to do? He can throw the ball further than anybody we have on our team. So that may come about.
Is that the Joe Theismann play?
No, we still have that. We've called that a couple times though, Jeff.
Still there?
Yeah.
Is it a pass or a run?
I can't tell you that. Call Joe up. He'll return the call.
Are you going to miss this?
All these guys?
Yeah.
Hey, we're still playing. Huh? We're still playing, so we'll keep on moving forward. Any other questions? I know we got a whole lot of other coaches in the room that are a lot more important than me to talk. Okay, thank you, everybody.